Please welcome Simone Wierer and Alexandru Oproiescu. Interesting name, like it.
We're getting better.
Russian?
Romanian.
Romanian, okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah, so as you announced already, so we will hear some insights really how you manage to integrate data into the within Siemens, and maybe a little bit about your background. Ladies first, Simone Wierer. You're IT service owner, master of data at Siemens, and you're responsible for internal applications and external reference service, including Dun & Bradstreet.
Exactly.
And what makes your perspective particularly valuable, I heard, is your strong foundation of 14 years of finance and controlling. So different background here.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome, Simone Wierer.
Thank you.
And your background is project manager at Siemens Advanta Consulting for strategy topics, and you have a PhD in digitalization of B2B sales organizations, and you're still a lecturer at the University for Sales and Marketing Management in the moment.
Correct.
Yeah, wonderful. So welcome, the two of you. Welcome, please help me. And I hope, yeah, should work. Give it a try. Yeah,
It's good.
Works all fine. Perfect. Do you need a water or something?
Ah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I can just grab it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Quick sound check. All good so far? Perfect. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you, DNB, for having us here. I already learned a lot. I'm not a supply chain expert. Sorry to say that up front. I'm rather the more exotic guy today, so the rather sales interested guy. But we are very happy to be here as a tandem presenters to talk about the Siemens journey to become a data-driven sales organization and how we contributed in our recent project to get there. And I say contributed because, of course, there are many ways to get there, and it's not a 2 weeks engagement and then we are a data-driven company, especially when we talk about enterprises like Siemens, which are not very small. So it was one project out of many, many that are ongoing in Siemens. Before we talk about sales only, let me quickly start with the manufacturing topic because this is the umbrella of today. And looking back in the last decades, I think the most dominant topics were, and you know it much better than I do, lean management, Industry 4.0, robotics, automation. Of course, topics that were very and are still very important for higher and higher productivity rates in organizations. And still today, when I talk to my colleagues that are more focusing on manufacturing and operational topics, they talk about exactly what I hear this morning from Dirk: sustainability, cost pressure, resilience, supply chain optimization, which makes a lot of sense. And then I'm typically the only guy in the office like, hey, what about the other side of the value chain? What about the sales? Because I know that sales is also important for you as manufacturers, and it's of course clear, but it's also clear for me that the resilience supply chain topics are even more important for you at the moment because we are facing terrible times somehow today. Yeah? The good news, for me at least, is that according to the PwC barometer that you just mentioned, in case you think, why is this guy from Advanta Consulting nominating now PwC? Because I contributed to development when I was a working student, so I really like the study. Is that indeed manufacturers, at least in Germany, want to focus this year on sales and marketing because they know that there's also a high potential to get more efficient, to get more effective there. Yeah? And if we even take a closer look regarding to a very recent study of the VDMR, so that's the German Association of Manufacturers, then we also see that they're using quite sophisticated technologies like Gen AI, and they even stated that 79% of the asked manufacturers in Germany tend to use or are using already Gen AI, and they hope that especially in sales they will have the highest efficiency gains due Gen AI. So there is something going on, just a small piece of the whole cake for sure, but it's a good way. Yeah? And there are many topics in sales digitalization where to focus on if we talk about data-driven sales. Yeah? Conceptually talking, we see, especially if we look at digital champions outside there, not only manufacturing, but all the industries, they're actually doing 5 things right in sales digitalization. First of all, they have very good insights of their customer journeys. They use data to define their customer archetypes, and they also use the data to understand very well the customer journeys of the individual customer types. Yeah? And this is, of course, based on big amounts of data, and I'm not talking about only big data, but the step is actually going from big to smart data. Yeah? So using this data, this customer data, and bringing it into the sales strategy. Yeah? That's the basic thing that we see at digital champions, so-called digital champions. Yeah? Then, of course, they optimize their sales processes from lead management to negotiation, sales, after sales, even customer experience, which is, of course, a hot topic still at the moment. They optimize, of course, also the individual channels, like e-commerce is clear based on a lot of data amounts, key account management, but also inside sales, which is, again, a quite interesting topic at the moment, at least in the German-speaking area. And then they move to the deep part, a very champion-style area, which is moving from multiple sales channels to an omni-channel provider, which is a difficult step, of course, because customers expect a seamless experience through all the channels. And here, again, a very strong data foundation is the basis. Otherwise, customer will feel like, that guy has no idea what I actually talked or negotiated with the other guy on another channel. And this is not what we define as seamless customer experience, for sure. And last one, the sales enablers, which is a very generating name for sure. But I mean here, using data, using AI, using all the technologies to create the sales enablers from trainings to administrative topics, but also to data foundation, state-of-the-art customer data sources. We're going to talk later about this a little bit more, which are very important. Yeah? Every salesperson has the same view on customers across the organization. I learned so far that you like studies, and guess what? I have also one study, or two. And you know what's better than citing a study? Citing his own study. Just kidding. Indeed, it's one of my favorite topics in my research area, so sales digitalization and benchmarking of organizations. And before I show you the results of how customers perform in this sales digitalization concept across the industries, a very short quiz time. Who of you thinks that manufacturing, it does not include the effects after COVID, important to note. Who of you thinks that manufacturers are in the top 3 in terms of sales digitalization? That's so unexciting to ask these questions with experienced people because they always know the answer. With my students, it's a little bit more exciting because they have weird ideas. Of course, you're right, yeah? So I was expecting that. You see here, industrial goods, there is still a little bit of improvement potential there, yeah? I'm not going to overkill you with the results, but I just want to show you the full picture based on the 5 pillars I mentioned before, drawing your attention, if possible, only at the line of industrial goods. And what we see here, there is a great room for potentials, talking about customer data, customer journey insights, and also the last one, sales enablers. Yeah? And this is what we are going to talk about now for Siemens. This is where we focused in the last months. And it started actually around 1 year ago when I was sitting in a room with our business strategy, colleagues from master data, other IT colleagues, and we were thinking about how to understand our customers better. We were doing quite a good job so far. I mean, we survived 175 years. We're not that bad, for sure, but we can get better. Yeah? And the question then, or the request from the strategy was, we need to understand our customers better, and that means to understand how they see and perceive themselves. Master data colleagues, IT, they were all clear what this means. For me, as a sales guy, I was thinking like, okay, so if I were a salesperson, what would I need to know? Yeah? And then I said, we actually need to look at our customers from 3 perspectives. Yeah? We need first to understand their legal structures, so their hierarchies, their linkages, their legal entities. How do they belong together? When we talk about decisions, how are the relationships there? Yeah. We did already a good job. We're partnering with you, I don't know for how many years, you know it better.
Quite.
We didn't start from the scratch there. Yeah. The two other perspectives, still from my sales classes, was we need to understand how the customers organize themselves. We think in businesses, many of you in your companies as well. And this has an impact on the buying decisions, yeah, on how we act as organizations. And third, also still from a sales perspective, who are the persons involved in the decision-making scenarios, yeah? So talking about buying centers. Because if I know that Dr. Schulte is part of the procurement, it might be quite useful to know that when we try to sell a huge amount of Siemens software to Bosch. Yeah? So that was actually our vision. And of course, not only for Siemens, there are a lot of benefits in having this full transparency. Yeah? I assume that also for your sales colleagues, they would say, oh, cool, having this 360 degrees transparency on our customers would be great. Yeah? It would make our job much more efficient and effective. Not only for sales use cases, of course, a lot of sales use cases profit from this transparency, but also financial reporting. So you think about, we get the question, how much sales do you do with, I don't know, Volkswagen? I just took a very huge company now. How many individual organizations does Volkswagen have? I have no idea, too many, yeah. But having all this perfect linked financial transactional data is a great advantage. If we unfold this 3D perspective on customers, and now talking about hierarchies, yeah, what would that mean? Yeah. So we want to understand the legal dimension. Yeah. Again, we didn't start from the scratch because we had already good D&B data. Yeah. And I took here Siemens as an example. It's not complete, but just to give you an indication how our vision was. So understanding all the linkages, all the relationships between legal entities worldwide, quite a challenge. Second, the organizational dimension, what we mean, how are organizations organized in divisions or business units, businesses, however you name it. Yeah? And not only the first level, but also, if possible, especially for large enterprises, the second level, so understanding the business units also below the divisions. Yeah? It sounds very hard, but actually for large enterprises, this is public data, yeah? And financial reportings and so on, you can get this data action. And third one, of course, the masterpiece, understanding which contact persons that we know already may have an impact on certain buying decisions. So, nice theory, and if you think typical consultant, they are selling nice concepts and then goodbye and implementation is a game over. Okay, I take it. But the question is, so again, we didn't start from zero. The legal dimension was already ongoing. And the question is, did we manage to do that? Yeah? And this is a question that I would like to give over to my colleague Simone, and she is going to guide you through what we actually did in order to approach this vision. And I'm very happy to talk with you later on about this topic. But now, the stage is yours, Simone.
Thank you so much. So, clear answer to the question of Alexandru. Yes, it was not only a theory. We developed a model to provide this transparency. So let me show you this slide. For the first time is really prominent, right? And yes, indeed, we did it for the first time. What did we do? We consolidated all business partner records we have within Siemens in one central place. But wait a sec, business partners? Alexandru was talking about customer journey, we need to get insights in sales. What are then business partners? Business partners are suppliers, customers, and in our definition as well, prospects. So potential new customers or suppliers. Because what we said, it initially started from that we want to understand our customer, but in the end, we want to understand all our partners. So what we achieved is we aggregated all the partner data together in one place. Now, what is all, right? give me a feeling, right, what is all. In the end, this is 50 million business partner records. And that is including ERP, non-ERP, and external sources. What is that? ERP is SAP systems. Siemens is a huge company, complex. We have 37 SAP systems. Non-ERP systems. These are CRM systems, Salesforce systems, SCM systems we have out there. We have multiple ones, almost 50 different ones. And of course, we utilize DNB as a source, as a valid source for business partner information. And obviously, we did not start from scratch, right? And I'm really proud to say we have that now. Why is it so awesome to say we have it now? Because before we had somehow the information yet as a certain distinct, but in silos. This system has it, this business unit has it. Everyone was sitting on his data because, yeah, it's important for my business. Maybe the others don't need it. But then someone said, and the someone is Dr. Roland Busch, he said, guys, let's stop with the need to know principle. To become fast, to be one company, to be one tech company, we should leave this need to know that just I'm sitting there like a chicken on my egg and it's just mine. Let's do everything together. And there was a complete paradigm shift from the need to know to the share unless. So sharing all the information we have within Siemens so everyone can benefit from it. But there is an unless as well. Obviously, we have restrictions in regards to natural persons, in regards to military flag or something. Obviously, that is not shared to each and everyone, but that is the share unless. Unless you have a real reason to keep it or restrict it, share it. Okay, how did we do it now? I see everyone is super excited now. How did we do it? Because it's always nice to have a, yay, we did it for the first time thing, right? But how did we do it? We started focusing on the legal structures. Do you remember on the slide of Alexandru where he showed the left purple side? And let's assume, so I just pick Deere & Company as an example. Let's assume that is the existing Siemens landscape. So we are making business with some accounts of the Deere & Company. We already know, as we are benefiting from the hierarchies already from DNB, that they are linked. Some, like Josef Vögele here, probably this is somewhere in a CRM system, no linkage yet to a DUNS number, for example. It's somewhere out there. How can we get it sorted now? We utilized DNB. How did we do it? So probably you know DNB has more than 600 million records out there. Are they all for Siemens? Probably not. Can we afford all? No, definitely not, and we don't want to. So what we... Sorry, Dirk, for putting that on the plate. But what we did is, we said, hey, we already have known customers, the purple ones. It would be good to know what is in this company structure out there else. So other entities we are not making business with, but linked to the company, because obviously the company is a focus of us, right? So what we did, we worked together closely with the experts from DNB and said, okay, can we find a way to say, this is our basis, existing customers? Bring that to a next level to identify white spots when we get a full insight on the company structure. We call it the full family tree, right? To say, combining the known partners we are making business with the unknown ones in the same structure. And utilizing that, we said, okay, take the existing base, identify white spots, and then identify based on this the Siemens relevant market. So guess what? We not came to the conclusion, right, we buy all the 600 million, but we said, which are the ones which are relevant for us? This is how we did it. And this is a crucial part of this whole one solution, the company definition we are providing, as I told you before. But we are not only utilizing DNB. Obviously, for the legal structure, the hierarchies are really important, and there we get definitely valuable insights. We went a step further. Let's assume we have companies like Fresenius, where we have from the structure this different or global DUNS levels. But we say as Siemens, it would be good to have the one on top. And we said, okay, let's utilize the company hierarchies we get from DNB and build a highest ID for us as Siemens. We call that company ID. And there, when we have the company ID, the highest level, not only DNB information is incorporated, but as you remember, we have local SAP data out there. We have CRM data out there. We have SCM data out there. So we aggregated and grouped it all under the highest possible company ID. Now you may ask, but when you don't have the hierarchies out there for these other ones as well, how are you doing it? And guess what? We use AI algorithms for that. Namely, name matching. So we found algorithms to say, okay, this company sounds like, let's just assume as an example, Motors John Deere would not have been there. It is, obviously. But we said then, John Deere, yeah, obviously, it seems to be there. So by the combination of the hierarchies and AI algorithms, we created this full-blown holistic view on our partners, ending up in a highest company ID. Now, I said, from a content perspective, what we have. Now, it's nice to have, but it should be used. So how do we provide this information to literally everyone within Siemens? Told you we had the sources there. And then we created, in our data warehouse, we utilized Snowflake, a core data product, which is called company definition, that can be accessed by everyone. What is in there? Remember, almost 40 ERP systems, 50 non-ERP systems, quite a big DNB universe, overall 50 million records. They are in. Now they are in. But what I'm doing with it and what is in, we decided to create for each and every record a unique entity ID. You can think of that it gives in the key an indication where are you coming from. For example, for a DNB record, there is something like DNB underscore the DUNS number, something like that. For an ERP record, it can be a local SAP customer number, and we have a linkage to a system and to a client. Every one of these 50 million records is unique. We said then, but we have more identifiers within Siemens which are linked to a partner. We have internal identifiers. We have even the DUNS, which is linked to a local SAP record. We have account IDs from the Salesforce systems. So we said it would be good that in this central company definition data product, we have all relevant IDs and keys condensed. So you can think of a table, a big table, where you have all the identifiers in. For example, you can even have a DUNS already linked to a ERP record. You can have the Siemens local identifiers linked to it. Everything is there. And that is the foundation. Now, That is our core. But we're talking about a core satellite model. What is that? It's always nice to have a core, right? But we know how diverse use cases are, what specific needs applications have. So we said, we have a core. We have out there in our Snowflake data warehouse other data products which have more insights, deeper insights from a specific view. So let's take D&B Insights as an example. We have over 400 attributes we are buying from D&B. We have almost 20 million records we are buying from D&B. The DUNS number is in our core data product. Now let's assume you have a use case and you say, I want to know if this customer from his size is a potential new one I want to tackle. Then, for example, they can connect the DUNS number. So they say, I have this company ID, then I have a new one there identified. I take this new one, this has a DUNS number, for example, white spot, we identified it before. Then you go to the satellite and say, give me the revenue numbers from D&B, give me the employee numbers to get an impression. Is it a company making 10,000 K or is it a company making 2 billion revenue, right? So you can always use this easy way of connecting, and always depending on your use case, you can pick whatever you want. Let's assume you are in controlling. Obviously I was, right? So you say, it would be nice to know what do I have as a revenue and as a profit. You just connect it with our transactional data. There is a data product out there. So this is how we guarantee that we share unless, and it is still usable and handleable. So here on the right side, again, what I said. So we have the full transparency, everything in one place. You can see the grouping and hierarchies utilizing the company IDs and obviously the D&B hierarchies incorporated. You can easily integrate and connect because you always have the IDs and the keys to go to several other data products to connect with the data you need. And as we all know, now you have there a big base, but you want to have something like a visualization as well, right? So we created a user interface where it's really intuitive to look into these structures, to have these hierarchies, to explore it. And even, we all know it, right? It's important to have data out there, but data is not always 100% correct. It can't be, never. So we utilize these visualizations as well that our business experts can look into it and say, but wait, I would expect this company is belonging to another one. Or even with the name matching that they say, no, this went maybe the wrong direction. I think it should be not company ID A, but B. So that is easy for them to go into it. We have their maintenance process established and say, I think it is that. But they can't say only, I think it is that, because then everyone is coming around and doing it, and they need to prove it, right? They need to say, because I have these insights. And then we can say, okay, makes sense. Then we put it to the other company ID, and then immediately everyone sees it, and everyone can consume it. So once again, framing the strategic rationale. The goal is to become one tech company, I told you, coming from need to know to share unless. And therefore, Siemens needs a strong central data foundation where they can rely on. So I'm just bold and say, goal achieved. Yes, we achieved it somehow. We already reflected and operationalized the legal structure. Is there still a way to go? Definitely. Are we working on it? Definitely as well. But we made the first step, and that is always what is important, having a vision and then doing the first step. Because it's always, what are the benefits here? We talked about it. Breaking the silos. We have now one central place to go, right? Reducing administrative overhead. Obviously, before everyone was like, this is my customer. Yeah, maybe I should pick it from this SAP system and this. Yeah, in my CRM system, I have something as well. But did I forget something? Now you have everything in one place. Data-driven decision-making. The buzzword per se, but it is now possible because you have a holistic view on that company. And even we found out, or business found out, hey, surprise, we have there in other systems as well already a connection. Would be good to know that, right? And in both directions, so as suppliers or as customers, super important. Then complex relationships can be simplified. We have there a clear structure. We utilizing the DMB hierarchies to say, okay, what do we have as well in specific countries? The domestic dons, right? To say, this is maybe my region I want to tackle. I can frame it, I can look into it from a specific angle. And of course, improving data governance, because now we really see what bullshit is as well in the systems, to be honest, right? So you see how some are utilizing the SAP processes and creating variable numbers, and you're like, doesn't make sense, right? So, am I already out? Oh, sorry for that. Yeah, perfect. Just one comment, because I wanted to say it's really important, and that is fitting to this supply chain topic as well, that we look on partners in a holistic view. So just giving you Microsoft as an example, probably we are buying something from them and we are selling something to them. And it was not yet figured out and completely seen as the one business partner overall and how they see themselves. So now with this new approach, we have really a holistic view, starting from the supply chain in the beginning to our customer journey, let's say, in the end.
Okay.
And that's it.
It's a wonderful. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So interesting.
Yeah, sorry. I hope I did not overspan that much. But when I'm in this topic, you can't stop talking about it.
One could tell. No, perfect. Thank you very much for this great insight.